They told me I was just the quiet girl. But on the night of my cousin's big birthday party, when she humiliated me in front of everyone, a stranger handed me the mic. And what I said next? I didn't just ruin her party. I changed everything. My name is Claire. I'm 26 years old, and I've spent most of my life being the quiet girl. Not the funny one. Not the loud one. Definitely not the center of attention. That title always belonged to someone else. Someone like Sabrina. She was my cousin. My older cousin, actually. 2 years older, 2 inches taller, and 10 times more dramatic. We grew up together, kind of. Our moms were sisters, and they always said we were like sisters too. But really, we weren't. I was the background. She was the spotlight. And I didn't mind. Not at first. But when you get older, things start to hurt more. Especially when the people who are supposed to be your family don't even pretend to hide it anymore. The story starts 2 weeks before Sabrina's birthday party. I got the invite through a group text. One of those messages where 20 people are added, and the host doesn't even say your name. Hey everyone! My 28th birthday bash is happening. Come celebrate me. Dress cute, bring good vibes, only kiss mark. I stared at my phone. That was it. No hey Claire, no personal note, no mention of what kind of party it was. But I said yes. Because saying no would have made me look bitter. And Sabrina would have loved that. For the next 2 weeks, the family group chat blew up. Pictures of decorations. Talk about the guest list. Memes about how amazing it's going to be. And not once did anyone ask me if I was going. I stayed quiet. Like always. Until 3 nights before the party, when I saw something that stopped me cold. Sabrina had posted a story on Instagram. The VIP list kiss mark. It had a photo of her, surrounded by a few of our cousins. But under the caption, it said, "Real ones only. No drama. No downers. No fillers, face blowing a kiss." I knew what fillers meant. She meant me. I almost didn't go. But something in me changed that night. I looked at myself in the mirror. Really looked. I wasn't flashy. I wasn't loud. But I was done pretending like I didn't matter. So I pulled out a dress I hadn't worn in years. Soft maroon. Simple. Classy. The next morning, I made a call to my friend Lily. She was the only one who knew how much this hurt. "Do you think I should go?" I asked. Lily didn't even pause. "Show up. Look amazing. Say nothing. Let them feel it." That was Lily's way of saying, go be your quiet, dangerous self. So I did. The night of the party, I walked into the hall and instantly felt it. Eyes. Some curious. Some confused. 1 or 2 surprised I was even there. But I smiled. A small one. Just enough. The room was all pink and gold. Balloons. Champagne. Glitter on everything. Sabrina stood near the DJ booth, wearing a sparkly dress that looked like it cost more than my rent. When she saw me, her smile didn't reach her eyes. "Claire. You made it." "Of course," I said. She fake hugged me. Then went back to the group she really cared about. I found a quiet corner. Got a drink. Listened. People laughed, danced, took selfies. Sabrina gave a speech that was more about herself than anything else. And then, it happened. She walked back on stage. Grabbed the mic. Okay. Before we cut the cake, I just want to say. She looked around. Eyes locked on me. Thank you to everyone who made tonight special. Even the ones who weren't really invited but came anyway. The room got quiet. People glanced at me. Some smirked. One girl covered her mouth. Sabrina smiled like she hadn't just slapped me with words. I froze. Then I stood. And that's when something unexpected happened. The waiter next to the stage turned. He looked at me, walked forward, and handed me the mic. The mic felt heavy in my hand. It was warm from the waiter's touch, and somehow, it made everything around me quieter. The room wasn't silent, but it felt like it was. Because for the first time that night, all eyes were actually on me. Not in a way that mocked me. Not in a way that dismissed me. In a way that waited. Even Sabrina tilted her head, one hand on her hip like she was expecting me to hand the mic back and sit down quietly. But I didn't. I took a breath. And I spoke. I wasn't going to say anything. I really wasn't. I paused. But when someone tells you you're not invited, without really saying it, you start thinking about all the other times people have smiled at you like they mean it, when they don't. Someone in the back shifted. The DJ turned down the music completely. I showed up tonight because I've spent years shrinking myself to fit into places I wasn't wanted. I've smiled at people who barely looked at me. I've clapped for people who never clapped for me. I looked straight at Sabrina. Her smile was frozen now. And I guess the truth is, I came here thinking maybe, just maybe, I'd finally feel like part of this family. But what I've realized is, I already am. Whispers moved across the room. Even if you don't invite me into your spotlight, I still shine. Because I know who I am. And tonight, I'm not the extra. I'm the proof that kindness doesn't need an audience. I handed the mic back to the waiter. He didn't say anything, but his eyes? They looked proud. And I walked off the stage. The silence after was louder than the music. I moved toward the exit. My heart was pounding. I didn't know if I had just ruined the night, or saved myself from years of quiet pain. But then I heard claps. Soft. Scattered. Then louder. It wasn't everyone. But it was enough. Lily was near the door. She smiled like she had just watched her favorite movie. That, she said, was a main character moment. I didn't stay for the cake. I didn't need it. On the way out, someone touched my arm. It was the waiter. I've worked a lot of these parties, he said. But I've never seen anyone own a moment like that. I thanked him. I wanted to ask why he handed me the mic. But he answered before I could. You looked like someone who finally had something worth saying. And someone needed to let you say it. That stayed with me. The next day, everything exploded. Someone had filmed it. Just a clip. Just enough. My words. The moment. The mic. It was posted on TikTok with the caption, "When the quiet girl finally speaks, listen." By that evening, it had over 400,000 views. By the next morning, over 1 million. And the comments? This gave me chills. This is why you never underestimate the quiet ones. That speech was better than anything in the movies. My name wasn't tagged. But people found me anyway. DMs. Emails. Even a message from a podcast. And Sabrina? She posted nothing. Not a thank you. Not a fake compliment. She went quiet. Just like I used to. 3 days after the party, I still couldn't believe what had happened. I wasn't used to people watching me. I wasn't used to people listening. But now, a clip of me holding a mic, shaking, speaking, standing up for myself, was everywhere. Strangers were tagging each other. Girls were sharing it with captions like, "This is me if I ever find my voice." Even a teacher commented, "I played this for my class today." We talked about courage. I didn't feel brave. I felt overwhelmed. But also, proud. Lily came over again, this time with donuts and 2 big coffees. She threw her bag on my couch like she owned the place. "You're officially a quiet legend," she said. "How does it feel?" I laughed. "A little. I still don't get why it matters." "Because people needed to hear it," she said. "You were the girl no one expected. That's why they listened." Then she added something that stayed with me. "Your silence used to protect you. But your voice? It freed all of us who thought we had to stay small." Later that night, I got an email. Subject line: "Speak at our women's panel?" The message was from a leadership conference happening in Atlanta. They had seen the clip. And they wanted me to come. Not just to tell the story, but to represent everyone who had ever been quietly left behind. "You don't have to be loud to lead," they wrote. "You just have to be honest." I stared at the screen. Then called Lily. What would I even say? She said, without missing a beat. "Exactly what you said that night. The world's already listening." But not everyone was cheering. The next morning, I got a text from Sabrina. Just 2 words. "We talk?" No emojis. No fake hearts. Just those words. I stared at it for a while. Not because I didn't know what to say. But because I wasn't sure I needed to say anything at all. "Still," I replied. "Okay." We met at a small cafe. Neutral ground. She was already sitting when I walked in. Sunglasses. Glossy lips. But her shoulders were tense. "So," she said, "I guess you're famous now." I didn't say anything. "You made me look like a villain." Still, I stayed quiet. She sighed. "You ruined my party." I looked at her. Calm. Steady. "I didn't ruin your party, Sabrina." I told my truth. "You just didn't like how it sounded in front of an audience." Her face changed. She opened her mouth, maybe to argue, maybe to defend herself. But then she closed it. "You've changed," she finally said. "No," I replied. I stopped shrinking. "That's different." I stood up. "And I'm not sorry." As I left the cafe, I felt light. Lighter than I had in years. Not because I won anything. But because I no longer needed her approval to feel whole. And then, just like before, my phone buzzed. This time, it was a DM. From him. The waiter. Eli. "Hi Claire. I don't know if you remember me. But I handed you the mic that night. Been following your story. Just wanted to say, you inspired me. If you ever want to grab coffee and tell me how it really felt, I'd be honored to listen." I stared at the message. Smiled. And typed. "Coffee sounds great." 2 weeks after the party, I stood backstage at a conference in Atlanta. Big lights. Big stage. And this time, I was the one people came to hear. The mic wasn't handed to me by a waiter. It was clipped to my shirt, connected to a headset, and ready to carry my voice across a room filled with over 400 people. I didn't hold notes. I didn't need them. Because the story I was about to tell? It wasn't just something that happened. It was who I had become. The host walked on stage. Our next speaker is someone whose voice reached millions, without ever raising it. Please welcome Claire. The applause was soft at first, then steady. And as I stepped into the spotlight, I thought about that night. The awkward smile. The glitter everywhere. The microphone, warm in my hand. The sting of Sabrina's words. And the way the room shifted when I finally spoke. I looked out at the audience and began. 2 weeks ago, I stood at a party where I was only half invited. I was expected to stay quiet, to blend in, to leave unnoticed. But someone I didn't even know, saw me. And he handed me a mic. I didn't ruin that party. I just stopped hiding. And when I did, something changed. The room was quiet. Every eye. Every ear. On me. I used to think that staying small kept me safe. But silence doesn't protect you forever. Sometimes, it just keeps you invisible. That night, I spoke. And I didn't scream. I didn't argue. I just told the truth. And somehow, the world listened. They stood up when I finished. A full standing ovation. Not because I was famous. Not because I went viral. But because I said what so many people feel. And never get to say out loud. Afterward, I met people who told me their own stories. A teacher. A teenage girl. A mother who never spoke at her own wedding. They all said the same thing. I thought I was the only one who felt like that. That was the moment I realized. This wasn't just my story anymore. It belonged to everyone who had ever been left out of the picture. Eli and I met again that weekend. We sat by the river, coffee in hand, shoes off, sun on our faces. He asked, "Do you ever miss the quiet?" I smiled. Sometimes. But only when I choose it, not when it's forced on me. He nodded. And we just sat there. No glitter. No drama. Just two people who saw each other clearly. Sabrina never said anything after that cafe. No apology. No message. She posted photos like nothing happened. But I didn't care anymore. Because I wasn't living for her reaction. I was living in my own light now. Speech balloon. And to the viewers still listening. If you've ever been left out of a party, a photo, or a family. If you've ever felt like your voice didn't matter. I'm here to tell you, it does. Sometimes, the mic won't be handed to you. But if it ever is, hold it. Speak. And never shrink again. Yellow heart if this story moved you. Leave a like so others find it. Subscribe for more stories of quiet strength and loud comebacks. And in the comments, tell me your story. Because someone, somewhere, is waiting to hear it.